Welcome to the US elections. I'm standing for the United States of America. I hate Asians, I hate Bangladeshis, I hate Hillary Clinton, and I approve abortions. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Ntv Exclusive. Forgive me for making such a terrible impression of the United States candidate right now for presidency, Mr. Trump. But why am I doing that impression? What are we doing? And why did I turn it into such a joke? It's because the US elections are only a few days away. Yes, it's a Friday night. It's Ntv Exclusive. I am your host, Abul Hasnath. And the election in the United States is 4 sleeps away. Yes, it's been referred to as 4 sleeps away because these guys ain't getting any sleep, so they actually count in the sleeps. But yes, I've started as a joke because it's turned into a joke, and it's absolutely crazy what's going on. People have now got fed up. You listen to the radio across the country, across the world, everyone's talking about it, but they're all fed up of it. Why are the US elections so prolonged? Why is there so much bureaucracy, so much diplomacy needed in it? Well, it's politics, it might need that diplomacy, but why has it just stretched out and become horrendously annoying? Why has this time round become the most entertaining time in US elections? I am not a politician, I am not into politics, but I thought this is the topic that we need to talk about. So I need to get myself a guest. I need to get myself someone that will be able to help me here in the UK, here amongst the Bangladeshi community on Ntv Exclusive to talk about the US elections. And I'm going to go straight over to my guest, Adnan bhai. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Adnan bhai, you have so many hats, but I have chosen you, and I'm very pleased to have you on the show with me today. Because I have chosen you because you, on top of the many hats you wear, like the former president of the Metropolitan Students' Union, you are a political blogger. You have extensive experience and extensive knowledge in politics across the world, but you take special interest in the US one. And I have to say, no doubt this year you have been entertained.
Thank you very much for having me. You are absolutely right that this presidential election is extraordinary, and it is to a certain extent it turned into some sort of joke that people no longer takes American democracy seriously. But this election has huge impact not only in just America but also around the globe. And there are so much uncertainty going on at this moment. It is a very unprecedented presidential election. If you look into America's presidential election history, this is the most unpopular, unprecedented, and controversial election. So you are absolutely right.
Controversy. There's no shortage of controversy. But I think with your expertise, I'm going to take advantage of that today, because I want our viewers here across Europe for NTV
I'll try my best
to understand, and you are going to help us. I know you're going to do your best. I know you're going to be blinding at it. I've had this pre-conversation with you, so let's fire away. I mean, give us a general statement of the US presidency elections.
Well, US presidential election is extraordinary, and it is so different if you look into general election of any other Western country or any countries in the world. That's how their democracy runs, and it is one of the most democratic country anywhere in the world. So US presidential, this is one of the reasons why there is so much media attention in US presidential election, whether this is 2016 presidential election or 2012 or 2004 or 2000 presidential election. And also the same time, because there is always too much focus on the person, on the nominee, rather than the whole election. This is why people give some sort of extra attention. As for example, when America was divided, America had a very bad image after Iraq war and all sort of controversial events that's been happening in Western politics. Barack Obama came as a man of hope. People saw, he was the first black American president. So America's politics, the way America's politics run, the way they elect their president, because of all this structure, because of all this system, America's presidential election is always a very interesting one. And because this year 2016 presidential election has turned into a new dimension because of the candidates you have from Republican Party and Democratic Party. Donald Trump, who has no experience serving the public, he was never in any sort of public position, where on another hand you have Hillary Clinton, who was in public service for more than 30 years as a first lady, as senator from New York, and then highest diplomat of United States of America, Secretary of State. So you have, in one hand, you have one candidate without any sort of experience, or definitely he comes from business background, and then you have another candidate with full of experience. So there is a, you can find there is a difference in their character, and also at the same time, the way the election runs, the way the democratic system works in America, because of all this issue, America's presidential election is always very, very interesting. I can talk about one particular event. I can take you back to 1864, when Abraham Lincoln, one of the most cherished and popular U.S. president, America considered.
Yeah.
When Abraham Lincoln, when he was running as a Republican candidate, and he was against slavery. So in southern state, in so many southern states, even on the ballot paper, there was no name of Abraham Lincoln. Rather, those Republicans, they started getting involved with another political party. So America's presidential election is always interesting, always some sort of controversial. And you can also talk about 2000 election.
Well, let's. I mean, just for those people that are out there that are watching the show today, they're not probably even aware of how prolonged it is and why it was prolonged. Because I mean, it started all the way back in January when you had 17 possibilities of presidency, and it came right down to these two. And I mean, in your opinion, there were some really, really good candidates that just didn't get the delegates on board. Am I right in saying that?
No, you are definitely right. As for example, the process actually, the primaries. What happened actually, both Republican and Democrat Party, they run their own primaries.
Primaries, just explain that for us.
The primaries is actually, there is no binding rules in America's system or America's constitution about how the political party will choose their candidate. But there is no binding rules. But what happened actually during the primaries, there is election in each and every state where the local people, they can go to polling station and vote. Or in certain state, you will find a private meeting among certain people, certain selected people, selected by the community. So they will choose.
That's known as the caucus, isn't it?
Yeah, caucus. So so it actually, state by state, it actually differs how they run their primaries, and that's why it takes so long, because America is such a big country. That's why it takes so long, and most of the time this process starts from February, and it takes 3 to 4 months time.
It's interesting you say that, because if I don't want us to actually spend any time on British politics, but just to bring it in, I mean, if the British was to adopt that system of having either polling for the primaries or having the caucus, I mean, we can never see this happening in Britain, because the caucus really is having a meeting and coming to an agreement collectively.
Yes.
But
say, for example, I mean, particularly, as you said, you don't want to spend any time. And also at the same time, there are so much happening in British politics at this moment, particularly after the Brexit. Having Jeremy Corbyn as leader of Labour Party, after that, there is some sort of attention, some sort of rumor going on that each and every MP, they have to seek a nomination from their local constituency. So MP's job is not a lifetime job, which makes sense. But then also at the same time, it comes, you can then implement those direct democracy, that a supporter of a certain political party, they will vote who will become their next candidate representing them in either in Congress, either in House of Commons, or you know, in local borough. But it is very difficult. But if you look into America, because America is such a big country, and America's they have a federal system, they have a different system than UK. This is why it is important for America, where they get people involved with the primaries, and this is why it takes time. It takes 3 to 4 months time for each and every party to find the right candidate based on democracy, definitely, whoever gets maximum delegates, and then they get their candidate. So it takes time.
Which let's quickly move on to the current situation, because we have a few minutes before we're going to go for our break, right? But the latest polls, I mean, we're 4 days away. The latest polls, and these are always estimates, and they're sort of experts and pundits in politics that are making these guesses. But what are they saying, and how far are we from the truth of that?
Well, if you look into before the final debate between Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton was doing really well. She was well ahead of this poll, because the audience
9 point
nine point in certain state 6 to 9 point, which is a very big lead. But then due to the recent FBI FBI wants to relaunch
the email scandal.
The email scandal. So FBI want to reinvestigate what happened to that previous case that they have closed, saying that they do not recommend any sort of charge.
That's just brought it level now, though.
Yes, and also at the same time, there was no presidential candidate in the history of America who was under FBI investigation. Hillary Clinton is the first presidential candidate. And also at the same time, if you look, the way FBI dealt this matter is also extraordinary. Their director, James Comey, he overruled Department of Justice. Then he actually rushed through this process, and then he made a public statement close to the election time. He made a statement 11 days before the election time. This is why nowadays Hillary Clinton is still she's leading the poll, but the margin is
very narrow.
It's very narrow. It's very narrow.
Before we disappear off, I mean, that's one thing, a piece of controversy that I really want to pick up on. And I hope everybody, just to sort of recap everyone, I mean, the email scandal that's now come out, the FBI, they are known to operate covertly. You know, it's secretive,
definitely,
but it's known because it stamps its authority. So the fact that they could have, if they wanted to, and as you said, operated this secretively whilst the election campaign's going on, they could have still carried on their investigation secretly, yet it was made like a public announcement. I mean, what's your opinion of that?
Well, I think, say for example, definitely Hillary Clinton, when she was Secretary of State, and also at the same time her family, Clinton family, they run Clinton Foundation. And because Hillary Clinton's family, they were under public scrutiny for so many years now. It is without any doubt that she was very reckless in terms of dealing with her email. But also at the same time, you know, it is very extraordinary that FBI actually started this investigation close to the election time. And James Comey, when they concluded recommending there shouldn't be any charge, rather they said, of course, when she was Secretary of State, she was very reckless, but they were not recommending any charge. But now he has relaunched that investigation because of one of aide of Hillary Clinton, Huda Abedin, because of and her husband, another congressman, he is under investigation, and FBI wants to correlate all of them close to that election time, which is giving some sort of favor to Donald Trump. But if you look into the statement of James Comey, most of his colleagues, they think he's a decent, honest person. But they said, you know, even a decent, honest man can make a mistake, and he made a mistake. You know, rushing through. Exactly, rushing through the process.
Hold that thought there. Hold that thought, because you get into this conversation, you just don't realize how quickly time goes. We're going to go for a quick break. Don't go away. This is Hot Topic. I'll see you in a moment.